really brief because we really are going to try to stay on time. I'm Lindsay Mask. I'm not sure if I've met all of you or not, but we started Ladies DC in 2006, and now it's grown into this, and we have different chapters all over the country. But I want to move straight into our opening keynote. Her name's Sam Horn. If ever somebody is a blessed speaker, it's Sam, and we are so incredibly fortunate to have her. She is high enough caliber and quality, and sometimes I feel so guilty, to be our keynote at the end of the day. But yet, what she does for an audience is so powerful at the beginning of our day that I keep holding her back, and I feel really bad about it because I would totally put you at the end, but I need her in the beginning because she just opens your mind, which is what we want everyone sort of engaged from the very beginning and then throughout the day. So if you would please welcome Sam Horn, author extraordinaire, communication strategist, life changer to me.
Good morning and welcome. Maya Angelou said, when you can do a common thing in an uncommon way, you will command the attention of the world. I am going to do something I have never done in 30 years of speaking. I am going off the reservation. And what I mean by that is that I am supposed to talk about tongue food today. And yet, in the last week, 4 women leaders, all whom I really respect, all who are really good at what they do, came to me frustrated, discouraged, stressed out, and scared. And there was a theme running through all of their stories. I'm going to quickly share their 4 stories, and then I'm going to put out a premise I hope that resonates with you. I hope you relate to it. I hope you hear it. I hope you do something differently about it, because what I've come to understand is that our strength taken to an extreme is our Achilles heel. And I think that many of us think if we do good, we will do well. And it's not necessarily true. Here are the 4 stories. Mary was an association exec. She worked for a very well-known association for almost 15 years. She was in charge of the leadership programs nationally. In a power play by the boss, who was threatened and intimidated by her, she was downsized. Now, she told me that in the beginning, she was actually relieved not to have to go to work and deal with this particular individual who was threatened by her, envious of her, and in a way took her out of the organization so he didn't have to deal with her. And she was relieved because she knows a lot of people. And she said, Sam, I thought as long as I did all the right things, as long as I networked, as long as I called the people I knew who were decision makers and had lunch with them and let them know I was available, as long as I sent my resumes out to those decision makers who were familiar with my work, I thought it was only a matter of weeks before I landed a new position. It's 5 months later. She still doesn't have a job. She's going into her savings. She's got 2 small kids, and she's scared because she assumed that because for years she has a very visible job nationally where thousands of people have had a chance to see her in action and who respect her work, even revere her work. She thought it would only be a matter of a few weeks before she found a job. Not only has that not been the case, now she's wondering if she is going to find a job. She's wondering how she's going to pay her bills, how she's going to feed her family. So that's story number 1. Story number 2, in the last couple months, I've had an opportunity to speak for 2 of the top coaching organizations in the world. Hudson Institute of Coaching, which is kind of considered the Harvard of coaching, and for something called CAM, which is Conversations Amongst Masters. It's many of the master coaches from around the world. One of them decided to work with me, and she told me her story is that she has plateaued. For the last 5 years, she's making about the same amount of money. She has about the same number of clients, and she is so frustrated because her clients tell her that she's the best, that she has transformed their life, and she had thought that that would transfer into growing her business and getting new clients and making more, making more money. And instead, she's kind of right where she was 5 years ago. And she's kind of getting discouraged, and I went to her website, and it's a generic website. It looks like every other life coach out there. It looks like every other coach out there. It's a boilerplate website, and I realized she has allowed herself to become a commodity. A personal trainer. I'm working out with a wonderful woman, and she was talking to me about unless she gets more clients, she's going to have to get a real job. She loves being a personal trainer. It is her passion. It's what puts the light on in her eyes. And I realized that she's not leveraging her story. She is not leveraging how she's one of a kind instead of one of many. She's just another personal trainer, and the world does not need another. The world does not need another personal trainer. The world does not need another motivational speaker. The world does not need another web designer. It does not need another marketing manager. The world does not need another. She has allowed herself to become another. And she's not leveraging her special story, which is that she was a klutz. She was not an athlete growing up. In fact, she was always stumbling over her feet. In fact, her mom and dad always said, oh yeah, she always has 2 left feet. And it was only in her 40s that she started working out, and she realized that being fit is an equal opportunity, that anyone can do it. You don't have to be a championship athlete, and she's not leveraging that. And then I spoke for a nonprofit last Saturday, and the chair of the nonprofit was completely stressed out because this past week she was going to have an opportunity to meet face-to-face with Joe Biden and with Al Gore. And she knew that what she said in her minute or two with Joe Biden and Al Gore could determine the success of this nonprofit that she's so passionate about, and she didn't know what to say. She didn't know how to get their favorable attention. She didn't know how to stand out from the crowd. She didn't know how to favorably impress them in a way that if everyone they met at that event that night and at the events all this week, that she was going to be the one they remembered, she was going to be the one they related to, she was going to be the one that they wanted to follow up with. So the theme of all of these 4 stories is that all 4 of these women are doing good. None of them are doing well. They're not getting the clients they deserve. They're not getting the business they deserve. They're not getting the jobs they deserve. They're not making the money they deserve. And here is my message today. And please, hopefully, get out pen and paper, if you will, please. And please put a vertical line down the center. Because I have been privileged to be a female entrepreneur for 30 years. And my passion these days is over on the left. Please put on the top of the left-hand column, commodity. And over on the right, please put specialty. We are either a commodity over on the left, or we are a specialty over on the right. And under the left, please put obscurity. Because if we are a commodity, if we are just another web designer, if we are just another speaker, if we are just another author, if we are just another coach, we are on our way to obscurity. And even if we're doing good, we won't necessarily do well. Over on the right, please put serendestiny. Serendestiny. It is a word that my son came up with a few years ago. And serendestiny means, are you leading a life where the light is on in your eyes? Are you getting paid well to do what you love most and do best? So we're either a commodity or we're a specialty. We're either headed for obscurity or we're headed for our serendipity. On our left, please put one of many. One of many. Are you in a crowded marketplace? Are there a lot of people who offer the same products or services that you do? We don't want to be one of many. One of many is a prescription for blending in. And blending in is for Cuisinarts. It's not for women leaders. Over on the right, please put one of a kind. We want to be one of a kind. We don't want to be one of many. Over on the left, please put common. Over on the right, please put uncommon. Over on the left, please put another. And please put also ran. Because when I talked with Melissa, the personal trainer, about her business, she told me a story about in her 40s when she started competing in 10Ks and so forth, is that because she had quote unquote been a klutz all of her life, her goal wasn't to finish first. Her goal wasn't to even finish in the top 10. Her goal was to finish the race. And now, a goal in business of finishing the race is nice. It will not earn us a living. It will not get us the job we deserve. It will not have someone decide to fund our nonprofit instead of the other nonprofits. It is a competition out there. Do any of you know Mariah Burton Nelson by any chance? Mariah Burton Nelson was one of the top women scorers at Stanford, and now she's head of innovation for ASAE, American Society of Association Execs. And Mariah tells a wonderful story about how when she was 8 years old, it was the summer and her mom and she were going to have a swim race. And so Mariah's a pretty good swimmer, and so the lifeguard, on your mark, get set, go. And she dove in, and Mariah's watching, and her mom is beating her. And Mariah thinks, well, this can't happen. And so she puts her head down, and she's swimming as hard as she can. She doesn't even take a breath for the last 10 strokes, and she gets to the pool just as her mom touches her out. And her mom slaps the edge of the pool and looks at Mariah and said, "Ha, beat ya." Ooh. And Mariah said, when she tells that story, the audience usually goes, "Ooh, bad mommy." Bad mommy. And Mariah makes a point. She said, did I retreat? Did I withdraw? Did I cry and feel bad? No, I wanted to beat my mom. So I talked with the lifeguard about teaching me how to swim faster. I went to the pool every day, and 2 weeks later, I challenged my mom, and I beat her. Here's my question. Are we seeing our businesses as a competition, or are we allowing ourselves to just finish the race? Are we allowing ourselves just to be also swam, also ran? Because especially if we believe in our nonprofit and we're trying to get funding, there are other equally worthy nonprofits going for that same money. Like Mary, the association executive, who thought 15 years of a stellar track record would be enough to get her a job, and it's not, because it's a competition out there. And she is not giving decision makers a reason to select her. On the left, please put, what do you do? Because see, so many of us on our websites, in our marketing material, in our presentations, we talk about what we do. It is not enough for people to understand what we do. Over on the right, please put, why you? It's not enough to talk about what we do. No, it's why us instead of the other people. So here's what I'm going to do. Is that I'm developing a program called Specialty, because I know the word special is getting a bad rap, and I think Dana Carvey and the church lady is to blame. And okay, how many people used to watch Saturday Night Live with Dana Carvey, and he would talk about the church lady, and he would say, isn't that special? And I know that some people think parents are bringing up the kids these days and they're spoiling because they're always telling them they're special. I don't believe in special across the board. What I believe in is, what are you special at? What is one uncommon thing you're bringing to the table that nobody else has? What is that special skill, that special accomplishment, that special contribution, that special story, where when you're competing with other people, they will select you over the other guys because it is a competition. Now, please, on your notes, please write down 7 P's, if you would. P is in Paul. Because in about the next 6 minutes, I'm going to give you just one of the techniques that we can use to start becoming one of a kind instead of one of many, to start being a specialty instead of a commodity, to start being uncommon instead of common, so that we break out instead of blend in. So first the little story, and then we'll talk you through the 7 P's. We'll even see if we have quick time for an exercise. How many of you have been to Hawaii in the last 10 years? Yay, okay, it looks like about half of you in the audience. All right, now, 10 years ago, the scuba industry in Hawaii started tanking. Okay, yeah. Some of these I just do for myself. Okay, so the first P is purpose. What was their purpose? The scuba industry, their purpose was to get more customers, new customers. So right now, quickly write down 4 W's. W, 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 W. Okay, what is a situation coming up where you want to win buy-in? Are you going for a job interview? Are you going to be pitching your nonprofit for funding? Are you going to be selling your business summit coming up? Are you going to be, what's coming up where you want someone to pick you? You want them to hire you, select you, give you a contract, buy your products or something. So what's a situation coming up where you want buy-in? All right, second, where and when is this going to be? So are you giving a presentation and it's going to be at 8:30 in the boardroom? Are you going to be meeting with a decision maker and it's going to be in their office at 4:30 on a Friday afternoon? It's just going to be on the home page of your website. So where and when is this interaction going to take place? All right, next is who. Who is your decision maker? Who has the power to say yes? Who has the power to give you the deal, to sign on the bottom line, to hire you, to give you that money? And then the last W is what? What do you want them to do at the end of that interaction? Do you want them to say, here's a 6-month contract? Do you want them to say, here's $100,000 for your nonprofit? Do you want them to say, here's a scholarship? You've got the job, what? What do you want them to do? Okay, so now you've got your purpose. Next P on your notes is person, not demographic, person, and I'll tell you why this is so important. Let's go back to the scuba industry. 30 years ago, when a family went to Hawaii, 30 years ago, who made the decision about how that family was going to spend their time in Hawaii? Dad, 30 years ago. Father knows best, remember? 30 years ago, the dad. 20 years ago, there was a shift. Then who started making the decision about how to spend time in Hawaii? Moms, yes. 10 years ago, another shift. Who is making the decision? The kids are making the decision. Houston, we have a problem. Kids can't go scuba diving. No wonder they're on the verge of going bankrupt. No wonder they're obsolete, obscure, is because the decision makers who could try and buy what they've got can't do it. So see, once you start thinking about the person who has the power to say yes to you, all of a sudden your languaging, your marketing comes alive. The next P is problem. Now get in the mind of that person and start asking yourself what problems they have that are keeping them up at night, what problems they have that are frustrating them, scaring them, worrying them, what problems they have with what you're offering. Well, a 10-year-old kid would say, well, my problem with scuba diving is, I can't carry those heavy oxygen tanks on my back, and I can't go down 100 feet, I can't equalize my ears, and I can't get certified, and, I can't afford to pay for it. All those problems are your barriers to entry. All those problems are why people will not want what you have, or what is worrying them or frustrating them in a way we need to address and solve if they're going to give us the job or the business or whatever. So the problems are what's keeping them up at night, why won't they do it? Now let's come down to the next P, premise. Premise is, what if those problems didn't exist? What if there were a new way? What if there were a better way, a different way, a faster way, a cheaper way, a healthier way? So you take every one of those problems and you turn them on their head. All right? If it's a problem to carry heavy oxygen tanks on your back, what if you didn't have to carry them on your back? What if you left them on the boat and you just ran a long air hose to everyone in the water that they could hold in their mouth, kind of like a snorkel? Now see, you don't have to go down 100 feet. You can go down 10 feet and swim with the huma huma nuku nuku wapu wa'as. And then, if it's just kind of a snorkel thing, you don't have to get certified. So you can be 10 and do this. And then it's not going to cost a lot of money, so the whole family can do this. Do you see how, if you can turn those problems with the premise on their head and eliminate them, do them differently, do it the opposite instead of the always and so forth, you come to the next P, which is process, or program, or product. It's like, okay, here's my purpose. Here's the person I'm trying to reach. Here's the problems either that they have with what I'm offering or that are really bothering them. My premise is it doesn't have to be that way. There's a new way, a better way, process, and I've got the way. It's here in my book. It's here in my nonprofit. It's here in my track record. It's here I'm going to contribute to you. It's here how I'm going to add value for you. And now the next P is promise. All things being equal, people will hire, they will do business with, they will fund the people they like and respect and trust. So my question to you is, why can this decision maker trust you? Why can they have confidence and count on you that you will deliver? What is your backstory? Why do you care? Because they're not going to care until they know why you care. They're not going to choose you just based on generic products and services until they have your backstory. They understand why you're doing this, why you're a person on a mission, and why they like it so much they want to support it. And then the final P is pop. Many of you know I wrote a book called Pop. The whole idea is how to stand out in your crowd instead of get lost in your crowd. It's how to break out instead of blend in. And one of the techniques in Pop is this. I believe the best way to corner a niche is to create a niche. And the best way to create a niche is to coin your own word. When we coin our own word, we are not following the crowd. We're not even leading the crowd. We have created our own crowd. So see, in Pop, there's a technique called half and half. And if you come up with a new product or service, if you come up with a new way of solving a problem for them, if you come up with a new way to answer an issue that's frustrating them or bothering them, why not give it a new word? So the half and half techniques, let's do this with this scuba and this new sport that they created. Let's see. So you don't have to carry the oxygen tanks. You don't have to be certified anymore. You don't have to pay so much. You can go when you're 10. Let's see, this is kind of half snorkel, and this is half scuba. Well, let's put those together. That's snorkel scuba. That's snooba. Bingo. Snooba. brand new, multi-million-dollar sport. An industry that was about to go bankrupt, that wasn't making money, that wasn't getting clients, that was about to be in obscurity and obsolete. All of a sudden, they're thriving because they went through the 7 Ps. And because they put themselves in the heads of their decision makers and started thinking, why won't they want what I've got? Why won't they value it? How can I turn that on a head and approach them in a way that gets those eyebrows up and that gets a yes? Now, I only have 5 more minutes, so here's what we're going to do. We're gonna have a 3-minute exercise. I know that's kind of silly. It's just I'm gonna be around all day long, so please come up to me in the halls and say, Sam, here's a situation, here's something I believe in, here's something that I think I'm good at, and I'm just not getting traction. I'm not getting the clients I deserve, I'm not getting the money, I'm not getting the jobs or the promotions or the funding, whatever. Come up to me, we'll brainstorm this in the halls. However, here's what I'm gonna ask you to do right now. In a moment, please get together with your GC partner. Now, you know who your GC partner is, right? Geographically convenient? Your geographically convenient partner. Now, in 3 minutes, you're going to have a minute and a half, and your partner's going to have a minute and a half. Look at your notes. What is one way you are uncommon instead of common? What is one way you are one of a kind instead of one of many? What is one way you've got a specialty that you're identifying and leveraging and monetizing instead of being a commodity? What is a problem that your target decision maker has, and you've got a new way, a better way, a first of its kind way that they haven't heard before, so that you win the competition, so you're the one they choose instead of the other guys. So if you would, please, just real quickly get together with the GC partner, get creative, turn to the person on your left, turn to the person on your right, decide who's going to go first. And now, welcome back. And I just had an opportunity to talk with 3 lovely ladies right up front, and they were saying, Sam, how do we market this? I tell you what, I'm going to be in the halls. Come up to me with your situation. We'll talk about how to market it. And if you want to give me your card and just put market on the back, I'll send you an article that has 3 specific tips on not just how to identify and leverage and monetize your specialty, it is how to market your specialty. Even if you, quote unquote, don't like self-promotion, even if you don't like to brag or boast, we'll talk about how to market your specialty. So give me the card, I'll send you that article. And I get to wrap up with my favorite story that talks about the power of being one of a kind instead of one of many. And that talks about how to be on fire instead of on hold. I'm the proud mother of 2 sons, Andrew Horn, who helps run my business, and Tom Horn. Now, both boys, they grew up in Hawaii, and we used to go for walk and rolls at night. I would walk, and my sons would ride their big wheels or their skateboards or their bikes or something. And we would always pluck a plumeria off a tree and put it on our pillows at night. And on one of our walk and rolls, I asked Tom, I said, Tom, what do you want to do when you grow up? And he thought about it for a moment, and then he pointed to the sky and he said, something to do with up there. Well, both Tom and Andrew went to Virginia Tech, and Tom studied astronomy, aeronautical engineering, physics, and math. Suffice it to say, I did not help him with his homework. 2 weeks before he graduated, he went on to the Virginia Tech job board, and there was a job announcement from NASA, from Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. And so Tom filled out the application, and he sent me his resume and the application and said, let me know what you think. And I looked it over, and I said, Tom, it's wonderful. You just left off one thing. And he said, what's that? I said, you forgot to mention that you and your collegiate team won the International Collegiate Competition for putting a manned mission on Mars. Guess what Tom said? But Mom, that would be bragging. Yikes. I said, Tom, put yourself in the shoes of your decision maker. They are going to get hundreds, maybe thousands of applications, and all those applications look alike. All of them have good GPAs. All of them have multiple majors. All of them want this job, and all of them are good. It is not enough to be good. You must give them one reason to pick you, at least bring you in over the others. What is something you can claim no one else can claim? What is something you've done no one else has done? What is something you can offer that no one else is offering? Because if you don't put it on your resume, they cannot read your mind, and you may never even get an opportunity to interview for that dream job. And it won't be that you don't deserve it. It won't be that you wouldn't do a great job. It's just that you did not take responsibility to be a specialty instead of a commodity. Guess what? Tom put that on his resume. Tom was called in for an interview to Mission Control at Johnson Space Center. And now, every day when Tom wakes up, guess where he goes to work? Tom got his dream job. He says, Mom, every once in a while I'll look up from the console and I'll look around, I'll look at the screen where the ISS, the International Space Station, they have a live feed and we can watch the people up there. And I get chicken skin, that's what we used to call it in Hawaii, chicken skin, which means goosebumps. Because he is doing what puts the light on in his eyes. He is getting paid to do what he loves most and does best. And it's because he took responsibility for letting his decision maker know, out of all the other guys, why they should give him at least a chance. What's the situation coming up in the next couple of weeks? Who is your decision maker? Are you going to give yourself a chance at getting the funding you deserve, the job you deserve, the clients you deserve, by being a specialty instead of a commodity? My name is Sam Horn. I look forward to connecting with you in the halls, and here's to being uncommon.